Al Kadosh, Erev Tov, Kinyan Masechta, Shiur, I think it's Shiur 70 actually, right? But it's going to be Masechet Taanit Mishnah on the bottom of the page. We'll do a very quick Chazarah, and then we'll continue. 10a, Yod Amud Aleph. Higia Shiva Asar Cheshvan. 17 the Mar Cheshvan arrives. And it still didn't rain. If you remember, the Yechidim are going to start fasting 3 ta'aniyot. They will eat and drink the night before the ta'anit, which means the ta'anit is not started at nighttime. Okay? They are permitted to work. They're permitted to bathe. They're permitted to anoint themselves. Nilata sandal, they're permitted to put on shoes. Vitashmish amita, they're permitted to have relations. So all these things are going to be permitted on the day of a ta'anit. Now remember, we're not talking about ta'anit tzibur. We're talking about the ta'aniyot of the yechidim when there was no rain. Next part of the Mishnah, Rosh Chodesh Kislev. What happens now if it is Rosh Chodesh Kislev? And you have to remember that on Rosh Chodesh Kislev, right, that's the last time that it's supposed to rain according to everybody, right? Even Rabbi Yosef, the last time to rain was going to be the Rosh Chodesh Kislev. So if Rosh Chodesh Kislev came and it didn't rain, now Bedin Gozrin, now the Bedin are making a Gzerah. Shalosh ta'aniyot al-tzibur. Now the Bedin are making a ta'anit tzibur. Ochlim ve'shotim mishechashecha, the same halachot. You're allowed to eat and drink during the nighttime. You're allowed to work on the ta'anit. You're allowed to bathe yourselves. You're allowed to anoint yourselves. You're allowed to put on shoes. And you're allowed to have tashmish amita. You're allowed to have marital relations. Until here, we're all clear. This is Mishnah. Okay? Very good. Says the Gemara, Man Yechidim. Who exactly are the Yechidim? Because we just said in the Mishnah, the Yechidim start fasting from the 17th of Mar Cheshvan. Who are the Yechidim? Amar Ravuna, Ravuna says, Rabbanan. The rabbis are Yechidim. Now, if you guys wanted to learn Musar, because I know you guys love Musar, so Yechidim, why are the rabbis called Yechidim? You know why? Because every rabbi looks at himself that he's a Yechid. To become a rabbi, to become a Talmid Chacham, you have to look at yourself, you're a Yechid, not part of the Tzibur. Which means that you have to come and look, you're the only one. Right? Why? Because many times what happens is say, don't worry about it. They have minyan. They don't need me. Or don't worry about it. They don't need shiur. They've got another 10. Right? But you were the 10th for minyan. You were the 10th for shiur. You were the 10th for this. You were the one. So they always look at themselves, I'm a yachid. Right? What does that mean? I have to come and I have to do it. I'm going to come. I'm going to be there. I'm looking at I'm not looking, there's already community. No. It's dependent upon me.
Why only the rabbi?
What? That's in order to become a rabbi. That's what you need to do.
I think everybody needs to feel it.
Exactly. That's what I'm just saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh,
to become a Talmid Chacham, that's their mindset. Their mindset is, I'm a Yachid. I'm not going to depend upon the Tzibur. I have to depend on myself. You want something, you have to do it yourself. That's the way it is. The Amar Ravuna, continues the Gemara, says Ravuna, Yechidim mitanin shlosha ta'aniyot, sheni v'chamishi v'sheni. Now the truth is though that we didn't even actually read when do we start. We just said shalosh ta'aniyot in both cases, whether it was in the Reisha or the Seif of the Mishnah. Meaning, if you look at a Mishnah, is it written which days you start? It's not written which days you start. No, it just says shalosh ta'aniyot, right? But it doesn't tell you when. Says the Gemara, Ravuna says the Yechidim, they start shalosh ta'aniyot, sheni, hamishi, sheni. What does that mean? Lundi, jeudi, and lundi. Bahab, exactly Bahab, right? That's what we learned. And last night we took out the Mishnah Berurah, the Shulchan Aruch, and we learned whether it was the end of the Shulchan Aruch in Chelik Hey, where he speaks about how we're supposed to put police officers on the Chagim in order to make sure, right, that people don't do the shtuyot, as they say. And then we learned further before the entire concept that after Pesach and after Sukkot, after the Rosh Chodesh, basically, meaning after the month of Nisan and after the month of Tishri, because they wait until the Rosh Chodesh, they also do Bahab because of the Avirot which were done on the Hagim. Why? Because on Chagim, people would, people are dressed very nicely. There's men and women. There's drinking. There's meat. They're lebedik, as they say. They're all, so it could come to averot. So you have to do ta'aniyot. Taanit. Okay? Very good. So says the Gemara, Maika Mashmalan, what does it come to teach you? Tanina, we already learned it. Later on Tedvav Mubet, we already learned, En goes in Taanit Tzibur, but Chila b'Chemishi. Right? You never start a Taanit on Thursday. Shelo la'afkia et ha'she'arim, because you don't want to have price gouging. Okay? So you never start on a Thursday. We explained yesterday the entire concept is if you're going to start on Thursday, people are going to come to the marketplace. They're going to start buying double food. The people in the market are going to start saying, hey, what's going on? There's a problem here. Hey. Boom, jack up the prices. And remember, once prices go up, they don't come down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or if they do, it takes a long time. And even if they do, just like now, right? What happened during the pandemic? All the prices go up, and we're still feeling the inflation until today. Yeah?
No, on pandemic, there was no inflation.
In the food.
So now the Gemara comes and it says, we never start a ta'anit on a Thursday. Why? Because we don't want the price gouging. Okay, so you don't do it. So Ella, Shalosh Shaniot Rishonot, when do you always do the first three fasts? Sheni, Hamishi, Sheni, Bahab. Bet, hey, bet. Monday, Thursday, Monday. So therefore, the Gemara is asking, why in the world are you telling me right now, Rav Huna, that the Yechidim are going to start fasting on Monday, Thursday, Monday? We already learned this later on. This is a Mishnah Mefureshet, and this was Halacha Mefureshet. If you remember, I quoted you Shulchan Aruch. So the Gemara answers, Ma'u the time I would have thought to say Hanemil, one of these words, Tzibur. Aval Yachid, lo. I would have thought to say that the Tzibur there, the Mishnah Tetvav Mubet, is an entire Tzibur. So you're right. If you got an entire Tzibur, right, well, we're not talking about, you're talking about all the Jews coming together and they're doing Ta'aniyot on Thursday, so then it's going to make a big impact on the market. You understand? But he says, but imagine it's just the Yechidim, right? All of a sudden, when it comes to Yechidim, how many Yechidim are there? All of a sudden, when it tells you, you know what, a Tamil Chacham should be Mahmir. I'm a Tamil Chacham. He's a Tamil Chacham. You know, Moshe Feinstein, you know, like Rabbi Yashin. They're a Tamil Chacham. Who are we? We're nobody. You understand? When it comes to Chumrot, who are we? Yeah? So what happens? So I would have thought to say, no, then they could start on Thursday. Why? It's not going to have a big impact on the entire economy. Kamashmanan comes teach that even for the Yechidim, they never start on a Thursday. They always start on a Monday. Okay, capish? Very good. Says the Gemara Tanya Miach, we also learned it in a Braita. Kesheitchilu haYechidim litanot. So this is a Braita, not the Mishnah. Remember, over there was a Mishnah, and the Mishnah was talking about Taanit Tzibur. Now we're talking about a Braita. So the Braita says that when the Yechidim would start fasting, they would do it on Sheni v'Chamishi v'Sheni. Okay, another part of the Braita there. Okay, umafsikin berashe chodashim, yeah, uviyamim tovim haketuvim b'mgilat Taanit. Yeah, it says over here like this. It says they will come and they will be mafsik. You know what it means, mafsik? What's mafsik?
Pasek.
Pasek. Yeah, they will make a hefsek, right? Of what? On Rosh Chodesh or Yamim Tovim, which are written in Megillat Taanit. Meaning there used to be a Megillat Taanit, which in the Megillat Taanit, it was written certain days that it was a Megillah that they're not allowed to do Taanit on them. Sounds nice, no? Like Megillat Taanit, but it means that you're not allowed to do Taanit, right? It's not called Megillat Yom Tov. It's Megillat Taanit that you're not allowed to do a Taanit on those days. So therefore, there were certain days that good things happened, and what happened, it was annulled, right? When the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, it was annulled. But until then, you're not allowed to do a Taanit on them. So imagine right now, the Monday, Thursday, Monday, it landed on Rosh Chodesh, Tevet, right? Or landed on Yom Tov that was written in Megillat Taanit. You would make a pasek, you would make a hefsek.
And then you start again?
Right? No, they push off the Mshech HaTaniyot to the next Monday or Thursday. Okay? Okay, but you're not allowed to do Taanit on Rosh Chodesh because Rosh Chodesh is called a Moed. There's only one Rosh Chodesh you're allowed to do Taanit. No, Chas v'Shalom. Chas v'Shalom. Yom Katan, that's only on Erev Rosh Chodesh, so that's when Ashkenazim usually do the Kippur Katan.
Monday is Machoket on some Rosh Chodesh.
No, the only Rosh Chodesh, which is a Lechule Alma, you're allowed to fast, is going to be on Rosh Chodesh. Which one? Av. The only one. Rosh Chodesh Av.
Av.
Why is Rosh Chodesh Av? Aaron HaKohen passed away. And it's written, Mishenechnas Av Me'atim B'Simcha. There's a few different reasons. So therefore, Cheshvan no. Cheshvan is... Let's go. Let's the Gemara. Okay, it says like this. Tanu Rabbanan. Now we're starting a new Gemara. Yeah, are you guys listening? New Gemara. Yod Amud Bet 10b. To be or not to be. Tanu Rabbanan. We learned in the Braita. Al Yomar Adam Talmid Ani Eni Ra'uil Yot Yachid. You see, a person should not say about himself, you know what, I'm only a Talmid. I'm a Talmid, I'm a student. And therefore, I'm not fitting to be a Yachid. Ela kol Talmidei Chachamim Yechidim. But rather, all Talmidei Chachamim are considered Yechidim. Right? And therefore, they have to come and they have to fast with them. Okay? So, Ezeu Yachid, Ve'ezeu Talmid. Who's a Yachid and who's a Talmid? Yachid is kol shera'ui lemanoto parnas al tzibur. Anybody that you're fitting to put them as a parnas on the tzibur. Parnas is a manhig, a leader, a ruler over the tzibur, right? Which means that he's able to answer halacha anywhere where you're going to ask them. And a talmid is kol shesholinto davar halacha b'limudo ve'omer. Is that anything that you ask him, what he's learning now? Meaning, the yachid is you can ask him anywhere, and he'll find it for you. He'll find you the answer. The how do you call this? The talmid is in what he's learning. Okay, it's not that you're going to ask him now something else. In what he's learning, and he'll be able to tell you the answer. Okay, he knows what to answer. Vafilu b'Masechet tekala, and even in Masechet kala, which is that you don't need that much of a yun, you don't need much, you understand, right? So then that's already enough. Okay. So Masechet Kala is a Masechtot Ktanot, right? That a Kala is below bracha, is a surah lebala. Okay, which basically there's no deepness. There's nothing deep. It's just yeah, it's very very easy. Yeah, very easy, very light. Yeah, fine. Tanu Rabbanan. Yeah, we learned in the Braita. Lo kol harotze la'asot atzmo yachid oseh. Yeah, what does that mean? And not everyone that wants to be mitnaheg like a yachid, right, is allowed to do so. Right? Talmid oseh. Right? And not anyone that wants to become a Talmid, he could do as well. Okay? These are the words of Rabbi Meir, which means that according to Rabbi Meir, right, it's you're not supposed to be a Yachid if you're not a Yachid, and you're not supposed to be a Talmid if you're not a Talmid. Right? Sorry. You're not allowed to, I got that wrong. One more time. You're not, one more time. Yeah? Yeah, go ahead. Like this. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. Lo kol harotze la'asot atzmo yachid oseh, talmid oseh. Divrei Meir, according to Rabbi Meir, you cannot just make yourself a yachid, and you cannot make yourself a talmid. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's haughtiness by both of them. Whether it is that you want to think you're a yachid or you want to think that you're talmid, right? It's haughtiness. That's the words of the Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yosef argues and he says, oseh v'zachur latov lefi she'en shevach hu lo. He says, in this case, if you wanted to become a yachid or a talmid, whichever one that you want, you're allowed to. You know why? Because here it's a negative thing. It's not a positive thing. Which means like this. Usually, people like to become a yachid or a talmid for their benefit. So, for example, right? Let's say the rabbis sit in the Mizrach. In certain synagogues, it's like that. I remember in Toronto, the rabbis had right in front of the teva, they would have a row. And the rabbis would sit there, right? Or in other synagogues, they would sit in the Mizrach. They would sit in the east. You understand? So you know the famous story, you know, with no, you don't know. There was somebody that came to the Parnas. The Parnas would not make money. Right? They never made money. So what happened? Right? Somebody came to the Parnas and he said, listen, you know what? I don't like my seat. Yeah. So the Parnas says, so what do you want me to do? He says, I want you to change my seat. He says, okay, but where do you want to sit? Yeah. He says, what? You'll put me. He says, listen, for the right price, anything is possible. Yeah. You know this, no? You don't know? Okay. Listen carefully. Yeah. So he comes and he says, okay, fine. So it's still in recording. Yeah. So what happens is he comes and he says, you know what, Mr. Parnas, I want to sit beside the rabbi. In the Mizrach, right beside the rabbi. Put me a chair. I want to sit there. Next to the rabbi. So the Parnas says, he says, if you, I would have put you where, John Jack sits. Okay, so, if it was before, that would have been, now you are next to the rabbi, $10,000. Okay, he gives it to him. And the Parnas is all happy. He's all, smiles, right? And the rabbi is looking. What's this Amaretz beside him? What's going on over here beside him? So fine. The guy comes, and on Friday night, he sits beside the rabbi. And the rabbi's there with his, but he's...
about 10,000.
No, the rabbi didn't know that. The rabbi, it goes straight to the Parnas. Yeah, it goes straight to the Parnas. So what happened? Yeah, the rabbi's there like this. Yeah, okay, fine. So the guy's coming, and he wants to show off to the rabbi. So he's thinking the entire time, okay, I'm going to start, lechadodi. There's nothing what to ask. Everything's so clear. Everything black and white. What do you want me to ask? Nothing. Okay, boom. Next, Shabbat morning. He's even reading the parasha. Nothing. He's thinking, it's such a clear parasha. It's nothing really what to ask. It gets to mincha time, and all of a sudden, right, the chazan comes, and obviously, Morocco didn't win, so they said the tachanunim, yeah, it's tzidkatecha. So they went and he said, tzidkatecha keredhem mishpatecha adamu ve'mat oshi Hashem. So he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, tzidkatecha, your tzedakah is like mamash, like harei el, it's like mamash mountains and everything, right? Adamu ve'mat oshi Hashem. Hashem is going to save the human being with the animal. So all of a sudden, the guy jumps and he says, I got a beautiful question. He turns to the rabbi, he says, Rabbi, who put the Adam next to the Behemah? He said, the Parnas. Good one, no? You like it?
$10,000 later, that's what he gets.
No, that's the way it is, yeah? So what happens is like this, yeah? What happens is, right, usually when a person wants to take it, it's for kavod. So for kavod, don't think you're a Tamid Chacham. Or for a kavod, don't think you're a yachid. But here, what's the kavod? It's opposite. It's for your negative. If you consider yourself a yachid, you have to start fasting. If you consider yourself a Tamid Chacham, you have to start fasting. So here, says Rabbi Yosef, you're allowed to. Why are you allowed to? Because here it's for your negative. And since here it's for your negative, it's a gava. What's a gava? Right? You understand? So therefore, because of that, he says it's going to be permitted.